Trump fires labor statistics chief over job data concerns. Full analysis. Imagine a world where the very numbers that guide our economy are called into question by the president himself. This isn't a dystopian novel. It's the reality we're living through. But here's where it gets controversial. In a surprising turn of events, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer stepped forward to defend President Trump's controversial decision to fire Erika McEntarfer, the Commissioner of Labor Statistics. The move came after it sounds like the president is genuinely worried about the reliability of these numbers. But the controversy doesn't end there. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, responsible for these reports, bases its numbers on surveys of households and businesses. It's common for the agency to revise prior months' figures up or down as more data comes in. However, the revisions seen in May and June were unprecedented, sparking a heated debate about the integrity of the data. You want to have somewhat reliable numbers, Greer explained. Sometimes you see these revisions go in really extreme ways, but that doesn't necessarily mean the data was manipulated as the president claims. Greer went on to defend the president's right to fire McEntarfer, an economist appointed by former President Joe Biden. The president is the president. He can choose who works in the executive branch, he said. However, not everyone agrees with Greer's assessment. McEntarfer's predecessor, William Beach, called the firing groundless and a dangerous precedent. Beach argued that the credibility of federal economic statistics is a cornerstone of intelligent economic decision-making by businesses, families, and policymakers. The July jobs report painted a mixed picture of the economy. While the economy added 73,000 jobs, below the predicted 115,000, the unemployment rate rose slightly to 4.2%. Moreover, manufacturing jobs saw a slight drop despite President Trump's tariff hikes intended to boost American manufacturing. Greer, a trade negotiator for Mr. Trump, was quick to dismiss the manufacturing data. "I don't read tariff policy into that number," he said. Instead, Greer argued that the numbers reflect conditions prior to the Trump-backed One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which passed through Congress last month. Businesses were waiting to see if some of the bill's tax provisions would pass, he claimed. "I think that we're going to see a big increase in manufacturing jobs now that we have the One Big Beautiful Bill passed," Greer predicted. "And I think that our manufacturers know that they have a clear and certain path forward on that now." As the debate rages on, one thing is clear. The accuracy and integrity of our economic data are more important than ever. But what do you think? Is the president justified in his concerns, or is this an overreach of executive power? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Republican senators react to Trump's firing of Labor Department official. In a surprising turn of events, several Republican senators have voiced their apprehensions regarding President Donald Trump's recent decision to dismiss the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, shortly after the release of the July jobs report. This report revealed that the U.S. job market has been significantly weaker than previously anticipated, raising eyebrows among lawmakers. Republican senators have indicated to NBC News that they would take issue with the termination of Erika McEntarfer, the BLS commissioner, if it stems from Trump's dissatisfaction with the job report figures. These figures indicated a troubling trend in the job market, which has not performed as well as many had hoped. In defense of his actions, Trump claimed that the report's numbers were phony and suggested, without providing evidence, that McEntarfer had manipulated the data to present a more favorable picture of the job market ahead of the election, potentially giving an advantage to former Vice President Kamala Harris. Senator Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming expressed her concerns, stating that if the data is indeed unreliable, the public deserves to know. However, she criticized the decision to fire the commissioner before confirming the accuracy of the numbers, calling it kind of impetuous. Lummis emphasized that if the president is dismissing the statistician simply because he dislikes the accurate numbers, that poses a significant issue. It's not the statistician's fault if the numbers are accurate and they don't align with the president's expectations, she remarked. Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina also condemned Trump's decision, asserting that if McEntarfer was let go merely because the president or his associates were unhappy with the statistics, they should grow up. Tillis had previously announced that he would not seek re-election, which followed his opposition to Trump's big, beautiful bill, a move that had drawn the president's ire and threats of a primary challenge against him. Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, who learned about McEntarfer's firing through an inquiry from NBC News, admitted he was not well versed in the matter, but questioned whether this action would genuinely lead to improved job statistics. He pointed out the importance of having objective statistics, stating when the people providing the statistics are fired, it makes it much harder to make judgments that the statistics won't be politicized. Paul added that simply firing those responsible for counting the numbers would not change the data itself. Paul had also opposed Trump's big, beautiful bill earlier in June and mentioned that his vocal dissent led to him being uninvited from a White House picnic, although Trump later claimed that Paul and his family were indeed invited. Senator Lisa Murkowski, from Alaska, expressed her distrust in the job numbers, stating, "And when you fire people, then it makes people trust them even less." This sentiment reflects a growing concern among lawmakers about the integrity of the data being reported. Democratic senators have also criticized McEntarfer's dismissal. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer accused Trump of behaving like someone who imitates authoritarian leaders during his remarks on the Senate floor. Senator Bernie Sanders labeled the firing as indicative of an authoritarian mindset, suggesting that it would lead to public skepticism regarding government information. He stated, "What that means is, I think the American people are going to find it hard to believe the information that comes out of the government, because Trump will always want it to be great news. And when that happens, it's hard for us to deal with the problems because we don't know what is going on." Senator Brian Schatz from Hawaii took it a step further, describing McEntarfer's firing as the stuff of fascist dictatorships. Former BLS Commissioner William Beach, who was appointed by Trump and confirmed by the Senate in 2019, criticized McEntarfer's firing as totally groundless and a dangerous precedent that undermines the statistical mission of the Bureau. A statement from the Friends of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, co-signed by Beach, reaffirmed the accuracy of the Bureau's work and McEntarfer's leadership. The statement highlighted that the process of obtaining employment numbers is intentionally decentralized to prevent interference, and the BLS employs a consistent, transparent, and reliable methodology to produce estimates each month. It also noted that the BLS is designed to operate as an independent federal statistical agency to ensure the utmost accuracy in the data it releases.